Experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-123-34 for Turbo Threads.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, now it gets interesting. Now you come down the stretch, and for a Lobo fan, this was, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but in this little scenario, yeah, it was worst case. We sat here a week ago yesterday and said there's a chance we could be sitting here on Wednesday morning and there's a tie for first place when the Lobos had a two-game lead. And if Utah State beats San Diego State, and Lobos losing Boise and San Diego, here we are. Big one tonight in Boise because Utah State will be up there. But last night in San Diego, it was San Diego State's defense that was suffocating. Magoon Guaf did not play. Nelly Jr. Joseph did not feast. The Lobos shoot just 34% from the field. San Diego State got a win. They needed to have 73-65 San Diego State over New Mexico last night. Good morning, boys and girls. Happy, dreary, sleepy Wednesday. I know you're up late watching that one last night. It went late. Maybe you were up until 1:20 when Kenny Thomas and Brandon signed off the air over there. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. ZJ is in today as well. What's up? How you living?
Living great.
Good morning. What's going on?
Oh, life's grooving. I'm glad you guys are both good. Good to see you both. JJ's up in Laramie, where he's got Lobo women's basketball tonight. Lobo women and the Cowgirls, and we'll get into that. JJ, I thought San Diego State's defense was fantastic, which should be a surprise to absolutely zero people who are even vaguely acquainted with college basketball. That's where San Diego State has made their mark over the last 3 decades, and certainly over the last 5 years as they've made runs deep in the NCAA tournament. They play without their shot blocker, their rim protector, their 7-foot freshman. And I told you yesterday, I said, look, that doesn't mean they're small, right? Jared Coleman-Jones is long. Miles Heide can play a little bit. I thought the minutes they got from Farrell Compton were really good. And, for all of you, and I might have been one of them who thought, all right, that should open it up for Nelly Jr. Joseph to have a day. That did not happen. Nelly Jr. Joseph had 16 rebounds, but just 6 points. And outside of Donovan Dent and Jovan Milicevic, Lobos couldn't score.
Yeah, even without Guath, it doesn't mean that the Aztecs are going to be small, and they made a presence to take Nelly Jr. Joseph out of the game, whether it's fronting the post, bringing someone else from the backside. The Lobos can get the ball inside. And no, I do think it's a combination of an excellent defensive game plan from San Diego State and New Mexico having to find some ways to play off that. Maybe run Nelly off a big-on-big screen inside because he was doing a lot of standing around and then getting frustrated when San Diego State was taking that post-entry pass away. And then on top of that, they suffocated the lane. and the Lobos couldn't get to the basket. They settled for a lot of threes. Yeah, they hit some early. They battled, but the Aztecs absolutely controlled that game with their length all night long.
9 for 28 from three-point land for New Mexico, but if you take away Jovan Milicevic, who was 4 for 6, and he had 16 points, it's just 5 for 22. And they were suffocating. San Diego State was. They had 10 steals. Lobos turned the ball over 13 times. Donovan Dent was really good. Donovan, 9 of 20 from the field. He had 26 points and had to do everything. But outside of that, and then I thought, JJ, I got that theory, right? And as much as I think New Mexico needed the game, San Diego State did need it more, right? They were firmly on the bubble. Now you can't lose again if you're New Mexico. Now with Air Force, UNLV coming in, and the trip to Reno, you've got to win out in the regular season. I think to feel secure going into the conference tournament, that you've got a good spot in the NCAA tournament. But San Diego State is the team that needed a quad 1 or quad 2 win. They needed something to help them move on the right side of the bubble. And JJ, they looked like the more desperate team last night to me.
I agree with that, but I think the Lobos need to be desperate. I was not as on board as the FS1 crew was that didn't mean anything for New Mexico.
No.
To have this game. Like, I don't think it was that big of a gap in terms of being desperate. Yep. And if that's the case, why did you get punked twice on the road? Like, just because the other team needed it more?
Yeah.
I know your theory. I really think that the Lobos are not as comfortable even in these last 2 games as some outsiders think they were.
I think we got to get into that. And let me be very clear. I don't think that this was what would you just say how they said it, that it didn't matter if the Lobos lost? Like
they were like the FS1 crew was super confident. Like
they're in. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not there. But as far as honestly, and you agree with me, who needed the game more as far as their NCAA tournament spot right now? San Diego State did, because they're out of opportunities and they were the one that were hanging on the bubble more so than New Mexico in most of the projections that you see. Now, where it stands, go to last year. Who the hell knows where it stands? But I think New Mexico's got to be desperate now. And that doesn't mean by any means that the game didn't mean a lot for New Mexico, that it wasn't a big game for New Mexico, look, man, you just lost 2 in a row on the road. Now, I'll go back to the beginning. We said there's 5 really tough road games, right? Logan, Fort Collins, Reno, San Diego, Boise, whatever order that is. You won in Fort Collins, you won in Logan, you've lost in San Diego, you've lost in Boise. I don't know how tough Reno is, and maybe Vegas is tougher right now, but you've got to win in Reno.
Oh, it's must-win situation the rest of the way for NCAA tournament resume. And then just knowing what happens tonight, too, for Utah State having a big opportunity in Boise to add to their resume. And then to, I think those are the games you look at. It's Utah State, Boise State, New Mexico, Nevada, the road games. Can you win those? And the sweep looms large. The Lobos did a good job to beat Utah State. I'm not surprised by the Aztecs game last night. Like, that is still a really good team defensively. Their length, the physicality, it bothered New Mexico all night long. I think when it happens to be right after a Boise State game in which you were controlled for 40 minutes on the road. They had that a double-digit game, until the end, and the Lobos made it a single-digit game. That adds to the frustration because now you had maybe a little bit of a cushion where, okay, we're not going in there as the desperate team, but now you're in an uncomfortable situation if you're the Lobos in the final 3 games.
Yeah, it's interesting to listen to the comments after the game. Jovan Milicevic, and I probably heard his coach say it, but Richard Pitino on the post-game show talked about the physicality, and he said they out-physicaled us. The last 2 games, he said, we've taken a step back defensively, and that's the last 2 games. And defense, honestly, JJ, is what made this team so good throughout the majority of the season. All right, we're open for business today at 505-246-0610. Let me give that to you again, because, maybe I should at least speak it audibly and legibly. 505-246-0610. Emails, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Text line is open, 505-246-0610 as well. You can watch the show. We are live on Xfinity Channel 26. Adrian's producing on ProView Network. So I got to see Adrian yesterday. Give him a little hug. It was great to see Adrian yesterday because he kills it every day. But we're on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, and on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Zay, did you stay up late and watch that thing?
I did. I wasn't actually like watching, but I was keeping track of it on my phone.
Yeah.
I had to. I'm not gonna lie. Don't crucify me at the Lakers game on the TV screen, but
Yeah.
I had the Lobo game going
Yeah.
on my phone. They both started at the same time.
Yeah, Laker game ended about 10 minutes left in the Lobo game. And the Lakers beat the Mavericks last night, 107-99. Luka Doncic, first game against his former team. He had a triple-double, 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists. LeBron James, 27 and 12 as the Lakers beat the Mavs. Interesting to see Anthony Davis there on the sideline in his big, fluffy, furry blue sweater, whatever that thing
Yeah,
was
right.
he was wearing. But that's it. All right, JJ, ready to take some phone calls on this and see where Lobo fan is today? Let's get started. Manny,
get it.
Yeah, Manny, you're up first on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Manny.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yes, bad game last night. I don't think I've ever seen a Division I team miss so many layups. It's crazy to me how many layups the Lobos actually miss in a game, per game. And Nelly, oh, my God, it's the most frustrating thing. That ball literally has to be perfect for him. I know he averages 13. He should probably be averaging 22, 23 if he could make some of his point-blank shots. But you could tell from last night the intensity just was not there. San Diego State needed it more than we did. That's unfortunate because you can never rely on the committee. They're East Coast bias. You're going to have to play to win now. Thanks, guys.
All right, Manny, thanks. So, JJ, when he said it, I can't believe how many shots were missed around the rim. I didn't know if he was talking about San Diego State or New Mexico. San Diego State misses
Well,
at the rim a lot, too. A lot. I
Yeah.
mean, they only shot, well, I guess they shot 48%. But
They were good last night. I think what it was the way the Aztecs made it so hard to get to the rim, and the ball was not getting inside Nelly Jr. Joseph early. That frustrated them, and then when you started getting those opportunities, man, they were contested. Whether
Everything
it
was
was the
contested.
back, second chance, there was bodies and arms everywhere.
Yeah, everything was contested, and that's San Diego State, right? I mean, it's everything we've talked about. It's everything we knew going into it. That's the way they play defense. Nothing is easy. Richard Pitino talked about it 2 days ago before they went, and I mean that's who they are. That's what they do. There's no surprise there. Brian Dutcher's the San Diego State coach, and look, the way they got handled in the pit was not lost on them. Quote from Brian Dutcher after the game: New Mexico is one of the most physical defensive teams you're going to play. I told the guys we got big brothered in Albuquerque, and we're not going to get big brothered at home. We're going to come out here and meet force with force. That didn't mean New Mexico backed down at all. It just means we did a better job responding to their physicality tonight. To me, honestly, that kind of is the story of the game, is it not?
It absolutely is. What the SDSU game plan, you knew it was going to be good, even without Guath. We discussed it, they're not a small team. They're
That's right.
still super long and athletic. They are really physical, and I'm not surprised the Lobos would lose this game. I think when you pair it with what happened at Boise State, that obviously adds to the frustration. I'm a little disappointed in how stagnant they were at times. It didn't
Agreed.
feel like there was anything else. Okay, they're taking Nelly away, and I know I had people talking to me last night, what do you want them to do? You can't get the ball to Nelly. I'm like, well, maybe a big-on-big screen or try to find the space opposite, because there was a lot of time where San Diego State just forced New Mexico to kind of take some dribbles, looking inside, pass wasn't there, and then they really couldn't get anything going and forced another tough shot up.
You saw there was coming out of a timeout. I mean, there was a concerted effort to get the ball into Nelly, and it got batted away each time. And that's where you could see they came out. Patino said, "Get the damn ball to number 23." And I'm with you on the Fox Sports crew. And by the way, I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to go out of the way and learn how to say Borovichin and Milicevic, would it? I mean, it just to learn how to say the name. It wouldn't be too much to ask to go out of your way and learn the names. JJ, I thought the other thing that San Diego State did last night that they had not been doing, and if they start to do this is where a San Diego State team can make a run in the tournament. They're going to bring defense every night. They're going to make it really hard on you. They made shots last night. They shot 54+% in the second half. They shot 40% from 3 points in the second half. They made shots when it mattered. Boyd was really, really good. McKinney, I thought, was decent, but Boyd and Bird are good. And then Coleman Jones hitting shots from the outside. He had a career night. They made shots. And if that becomes a trend for them, they become dangerous.
Yeah, I know the offense fluctuation, maybe it's been a little steeper at times this season for the Aztecs, but knowing that they play defense like that, the athletes that they have, I've always felt that this was still like the dangerous team. Like Utah State, New Mexico have been really good, but San Diego State was still that team that was going to go into the Mountain West tournament and find a way to be right there Friday, even in the Mountain West title game, like the thorn in everyone's side because of the talent that they have.
Yeah. All right. I want to hear from you today. Obviously, a lot of Lobo basketball talk. We're going to get into some other stuff today. Lakers and Mavs last night was big. Lobo baseball shuts out New Mexico State. They got some pitching last night. And are we playing a little quarterback roulette with the Rams? Matthew Stafford, is he on the block? I think the answer is yes. Is that their plan? Let him go, get Bunch for him, and bring in Aaron Rodgers? We'll get into all that. 505-246-0610. Lobo fan, wake up, get out of bed, drag a comb across your head, get downstairs and grab a cup. It's the morning after, and let's hear what you think. Hey, IPS is around your neighborhood, aren't they? You see their vehicles just cruising your hood. You see them when you go to the store. You know why they're everywhere? Because they work. They are affordable private security that protects what you have worked so hard to build. I've trusted IPS for years. They stop by my home every single day. A few times I've had an issue, an alarm's gone off. They were there within 5 to 7 minutes. When I travel, they pick up packages. If you need them to pick up newspaper, roll the garbage to the curbs and back on garbage day. They do exterior checks. They make sure what you've worked so hard to build, what you've worked so hard for, is protected. Businesses, homes, look, they install alarms, camera systems. They got a state-of-the-art facility monitoring those cameras 24/7. It all raises the level of security around your home and business. They'll also provide standing guards if that's what you need around the clock. Don't wait to be a victim. Be proactive on this one. Once you're a victim, it's just too late. Call IPS, see what they can do for you. I think you're going to be impressed. 505-897-2420 is the number. 505-897-2420. They are online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting.
All right. Tough one last night for Lobo fans. 73-65. That was the number last night. San Diego State beats New Mexico. Want to hear your thoughts? 505-246-0610. Let's bring it. 888-922-0610. If, for whatever reason you're still paying a toll, we'll, who's paying a toll? Anybody paying a toll? Like, is that still a thing?
Only on a road.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah, I want to hear from you. Oh, we already got reaction in. JJ, you got ladies tonight. 2 games left in the regular season or 3?
3.
3. All right. And what time are you on the air tonight?
6 p.m. Mountain Time pregame show.
6 with the 6:30 tip. Big one in Laramie, Lady Lobos and Wyoming. JJ's going to be in Vegas with the ladies for the women. I'll be there midweek. The opening drive will come to you from the Mountain West Conference tournament. We're there in 2 weeks. So what's today? Wednesday. So I'll be there dreary-eyed at 6 a.m. in Vegas 2 weeks from the day. Mountain West Conference tournament, which should be terrific. Colorado State's playing well. San Diego State's playing well. Obviously, the Lobos and Utah State are. Boise State. It should be really fun. Want to say thank you to the sponsors who are making sure that we're there and bringing you the coverage. Frontier Restaurant, an Albuquerque tradition for 50 years. DSI Document Solutions Incorporated. John Thomas Jewelers, see why they've been voted the best jeweler in Albuquerque for 4 straight years. Frank's Supply Company, find whatever tool you need for every job. Echo Electric, your P&M authorized car charger installer. Korish Law Injury Lawyers, serving New Mexico for 5 generations. Airport parking, safe, secure, and the lowest price to park at the Sunport. Blake's Lottaburger is sending us there as well. The Twin Peaks, eat, drinks, and scenic views. All right, got some correspondence already on the text line. One says, just congrats to Lobo Baseball. Touchdown victory over Tiddlywinks NMSU last night. Good job, NMSU Baseball. JJ got some pitching last night, which was good. This is on Lobo Basketball last night. It says Joseph and starters outside of Dent were just absent. That cannot happen. It seems as though the Lobos may have peaked too soon. We do not seem to have the punch we had prior to the Boise game. And last night appeared to be a carryover from that. So here we are again in a situation where we almost have to win out, and we have a way, and we gave away the conference lead, to Utah State. This just feels ominous. JJ, too much or legit?
I think there's a little more to that. I know in the theory of it that going into these 2 games, Boise State and San Diego State had more to play for their resume, but these are the games that you clinch a regular season title, and these are the ones that find a way to put you over the top. And last night's performance, watching that game, didn't surprise me that it was an absolute battle slugfest, that everything was going to be difficult for New Mexico. I think it's that much more frustrating, though, when you come off the performance at Boise State, which everyone looked at and said, all right, you ran out a little bit of the gas. Amzo wasn't there. Nolan under the weather. You got now get back. But then it's 2 in a row late in the season. That frustration mounts, and you can't drop one the rest of the way, obviously. And I don't think that with what we saw last year and looking at the resume this year in the conference, that I was definitely not as confident as the FS1 broadcast
doubt.
crew was that, hey, the Lobos are in and they're going to be good regardless.
No doubt. And look, why does JJ say you can't drop one from here on out? You've already taken your mulligans. The New Mexico State loss, which is now quad 3 loss, but it's not a good loss, and the San Jose State loss, which is quad 3, those were your mulligans. You've used up your mulligans, right? You don't have one to use coming down the stretch. That's where this all comes in. John says, good morning, fellas. Man, oh man, I think the entire UNM Lobos basketball team had severe jet lag, and it showed on the floor, which is a train wreck of a performance by the Lobos. Now it's must win from here on out for the Lobos. It's from John in Duke City. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living, Mike?
Great. I still think we're in the driver's seat. I mean, we still have the tiebreaker with a team
That's correct.
That has the same record. I mean, they got to play out too, and I think our schedule's easier. I mean, we got one road game in Nevada, which is no cakewalk, but I think they got a tougher road.
But they could get beat tonight.
They
could get beat tonight, Utah State, and all of a sudden you guys you're a big Bronco fan tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Bronco fan for sure. And hey, it's like how does that work though? If we're tied with Utah going into the Mountain West, do we get the number 1 seed? Because we don't want to be a 2 or a 3 because those guys are going to beat up each other.
Yes. If New Mexico and Utah State are tied, New Mexico is the 1 seed because you beat them twice. Yes.
What about the divisional trophy? The regular season.
They call it a
winner.
Yeah, they call it a co-championship. Yeah, you don't get it because you win they call it a co-championship. That's how the Mountain West does it. But you will be the number 1 seed if you're tied with Utah State, and if you're tied with Colorado State because you swept them too.
Oh, nice. Well, all I can say is if we don't win the games that we're supposed to, which are the last 3, then you know what they say. We don't deserve to be there.
Yes,
so
it is.
We're good. That means we'd have lost to Air Force or I guess the best of the teams left is in Nevada. Correct?
Well, UNLV played you really, really tough when you went to their place, and so did Nevada. I mean, they're both
Right.
as far as conference records. They're UNLV's 9-8, Nevada's 8-9. They're one's 15-13, one's 16-12. I mean, they are what they are. Without D-Dan Thomas, I would tell you I think Nevada's a little bit better than UNLV right now.
Well, I think last night they had the better game plan. I mean, they made you shoot from the outside, and we're notorious for not shooting great from the outside, including making. Yeah. I don't know what was the free throws. I mean, it always looks worse. And then
12
for 16. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you were 12 for 16. They were 14 for 22. So I saw the gripe on fouls. New Mexico got called for 19 fouls, and San Diego State got called for 18. So it was pretty even for those of you who like even number fouls. So
well, I mean, if you look at any regular season and you told us all at the beginning this is where we'd stand, we'd lose 2 of the tougher teams on the road.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, we'd take it all day long.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you, Mike. See you. JJ, who do you think right now? I mean, neither one's a cakewalk, and UNLV always plays you tough, but you got UNLV in the pit. Who's better? To me, without D-Dan Thomas, I think Nevada's better than UNLV right now, but not by much.
The road trip to Reno was the tougher of those 2 games.
Yep, and I don't think they're playing to stay out, right? I mean, I think the top 5 are pretty much settled at this point. In fact, hell, it's got to be settled by now. Boise State's got a 2.5 game lead over UNLV for the 5th number 5 spot, which is the final bye. So I think everybody can make their plans and know when they're going into Vegas at this point, and who's playing. All right, we'll keep them coming. I got our resident San Diego State Aztec listener. He sent an email. I'll read that to you when we get back. How Ryan in San Diego, who listens to our show, not a dude I know, by the way. That's Ralph. That's the guy who gives us surf reports. We get surf reports from North County on a regular basis. We get pictures and everything of the washed out swell. Yeah, we get morning surf reports from North County on a regular. But this is a different dude. Get you that when we come back. 505-246-0610 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by the Albert.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke.
Thanks for downloading it. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for choosing to listen to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports M. I know there's a lot out there and appreciate all the hours you spend with us. JJ, that's probably how Ryan listens. Well, you know, when I'm on the road, that's how I listen to you guys. I listen to you via the app, so it's pretty easy. Ryan is in San Diego, and Zay, and for those of you unfamiliar, Ryan sent us a number of emails over the last few months. Said, just found our show. He likes our show. He likes what we do and appreciates the approach to college basketball, Mountain West basketball, and mixing national and local. And so he listens. Ryan said, "Hey, Jeff, you're a resident Aztec fan here. I was at the game last night, and I thought we were in trouble without Guath, but damn, the Aztec defense showed up like it always does. Viejas was electric, and Dent was a monster. Wish you guys luck the rest of the season, and hopefully we can finish the trilogy in Las Vegas." That's from Ryan. That was cordial, right? I mean, you guys could hate him because he's an Aztec, and I know a lot of you do, but I mean, that's a reasonable Aztec fan, don't you think?
Yeah, it sounds like one of those. It's like when you lose something, but whoever beats you is like nice about it.
Some respect.
So you kind of have to just swallow the pill.
There's some respect there. I mean, look, JJ, I think his assessment's right. Their defense showed up, and I'm going to credit Brian Dutcher, their head coach, but I got to give Jared Coleman Jones and Miles Heide and even Farrell Compton off the bench for doing a hell of a job. And then their guards on the backside, keeping the ball away from Nelly Jr. Joseph, who had 7 field goal attempts. He had 16 rebounds. But in 37-plus minutes of play last night with Magoon Guath not there, he went 2 for 7. And what was he, like 3 for 10 in the first game against San Diego State? They've really done a hell of a job on him.
Yeah, there's a focal point of the Aztecs' defensive game plan, and really what they did, you knew it was going to be a tough game, and shots were going to be hard to come by, and they were going to slow you down. And you look at the first half, the Lobo starters were 5 of 20 from the field. So even with them taking Nelly Jr. Joseph out of the game, the Lobos were not able to find other ways to get downhill. And Dent was awesome, but, man, half the shots he hit were ridiculously tough shots. Like off balance, swung to the floor, spinning it up off of the rim. And that's the type of game that you have to be ready for. And you can understand that on the road at San Diego State. And again, when you compound it with what happened at Boise, it's a frustrating moment. No, I do think that these teams match up again in Las Vegas. It's a 1 or 2 possession game, like on a neutral court. Like that's just the way the Aztecs play.
You know, going into this, and I remember going into last year, I was super excited about the tournament, and it delivered. And you had 6 teams who were really good, and Lobos beat the Aztecs, and Lobos cut down the nets, and it was wonderful, and that's how New Mexico got in. JJ, I look at this now. I don't know that I think there's a huge difference between New Mexico, Utah State, and San Diego State. And I guess you've got to say Boise State right now the way they're playing, and Colorado State continues to win. I think there's 5 teams playing really, really well right now.
There is. I think we'll learn a lot more about Boise State if they're able to
tonight
maintain a level against Utah State at home in that big matchup. Because I still think I would, put UNM, Utah State, San Diego State above Boise State, and Colorado State with Nick Clifford, they play hard. But if we were like power ranking them, I might have them at 5 right now.
I might have them above Boise. I'm not. I want to watch Boise State again tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's Boise's win over New Mexico was really impressive. It was convincing for 40 minutes, and Colorado State handles their business. They've taken a step ahead of everyone else. They beat Air Force by double digits last night in Colorado Springs. That's what you have to do at this point in the season. But those 5 at the top are solidified right now.
Colorado State won 77-55 at Clune last night. It was only a 2-point game at halftime. Kyan Evans scored 20 points for them for the Rams last night, the young point guard. So 77-65. Colorado State's 13-4, and just a game behind New Mexico State and Utah State. In San Jose, we would have lost our bet if we'd have taken San Jose State in 2.5. JJ, UNLV went in there and beat San Jose State 77-71. Jaden Henley had 22 points for UNLV. In Reno, Nevada handled Wyoming 84-61. A big night for Kobe Sanders for the Wolfpack. 27 points off the bench for Kobe Sanders, and the Wolfpack win. They're 8-9 and 16-12. And then the other game last night, of course, San Diego State beat New Mexico 73-65. Tonight it's in Boise at Extra Mile Arena. I don't even see there it is. Boise State by 3.5. Boise State by 3.5, JJ. I'm surprised by that. No?
Yeah, I think they're just giving the Broncos a lot of credit for their last performance at home,
which was against New Mexico. Yep. All right. Lobos are off until Saturday. It's an afternoon game, noon. Air Force is in town. That will be your get-right game. I mean, it's got to be, right? Like, it's got to be. It's your get-right game. You go out there, get your confidence back, go out, run them off the floor. Don't play with your food in this one. Just go in there and dominate, right?
That is correct.
I mean, it needs to be. Now, if they get out of there with a 4-point win, you're going to, all right, you won. But, like, there'll be a little but to that, right?
There will be a little but to that.
Yeah. All right.
At this point in the season.
Yeah, that's where you are. Elsewhere, did you catch any of the Florida? And I don't in college basketball last night. Georgia was up 26 on Florida, and then had a hold on at the end and beat Florida. Florida's what, number 3 in the country? Yeah, the third-ranked team in the country. That's a Georgia team hovering on the bubble. So for you bubble teams, and if you now think I saw somebody on Twitter yesterday say, you're insane if you think New Mexico's a bubble team. I think you're insane if you think they're securely in. But that's another conversation. You're rooting for these bubble teams to get beat. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's the game I locked into for a while. In that window was the closest game with Florida coming back, and Georgia made some nice plays down the stretch. But those are the ones you're watching with all those power conference teams that you might look at their record and scoff, but it doesn't matter because overall, if you're picking up quad 1 wins and you're on the bubble, that moves you up a little bit.
How would you respond to someone this morning who said, "You're an idiot. The Lobos aren't on the bubble; they're securely in"?
Say you just don't understand how tournament selection and resumes work. Like if you like last year's team, even finishing 6th place in the Mountain West, we thought it was in a better position with the way the conference was playing, the wins that they had, and they tell you on Selection Sunday that they were a bid stealer.
Yeah,
I am not going to feel confident about this team in the Mountain West that's not as strong.
Do you feel that they're in a better position right now than they were with 3 games to go last year? Because I do. I do. They're a first-place team, not a 6th-place team. They've got.
But that doesn't mean anything.
No,
winning your conference regular season title doesn't mean anything.
Right, but again, so that's part of the equation. They've got the win over UCLA, which is good. They've got the win over SC, which isn't holding as much. The VCU win still is pretty good, by the way. That VCU when they won again last night, you're still pulling for VCU. Here's the deal, Lobo fan, and again, for those of you who don't, you look at the record and you say, well, what do you mean, man? I mean, they're sitting there at 22-6 and 14-3. Excuse me. You're right, and there's some good wins on there. But man, you can't erase those 2 quad 3 losses, and there's not enough really, 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 really good to erase that. And so last night was an opportunity. You didn't get last night. You didn't get Boise. The Utah State wins are really, really good. I think they're in good shape. Okay, I think they're in a really good spot right now. They just can't have another lapse. They've got to finish out the regular season with 3 straight wins to feel comfortable going into the conference tournament. And if you end up going in at 25-6, win your first game, get to 26-6, JJ, even if you lose on Friday night in the semifinal, I think you're in.
Yeah, I think the Lobos on the right side of the bubble, but when you're an 8 seed or lower, you're a bubble team.
Why can't people understand that? Why is that so insulting for some people on social media to hear?
It is.
I mean, like
not
literally.
trying to put down anything. I think the Lobos are an NCAA caliber team, but they are still on that 8-9 line, and that means that you're floating on the bubble.
Yeah, and a bad loss knocks you the wrong way. All right, 505-246-0610. When we come back, let's get into what happened in L.A. last night, if you want. Lakers and Mavs. I know a lot of you were flipping back and forth, or maybe one of you was just on that and just watching the Lobo game on your phone. I mean, whatever it is, I'm not going to judge you because that was what the whole sports world was talking about yesterday. Luka against the Mavs. The over-under, JJ, we put at 33.5. We might have got beat on that. But, so I want to get into that when we get back. 505-246-0610. 0610. How's your vehicle? You're in it right now. How is it? Yeah, no, I know. Mine's about due again. It's been a few months since I had On the Spot Automotive Detailing come out and detail my vehicle. Look, it's one of your biggest investments, and odds are you're going to keep it for a while. Take care of it. Protect it. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Have them come to you and detail your vehicle. What detailing means is they come in inside and outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats, like everywhere. That new car clean, that new car feel when you took it off the lot, that's what you can have without getting a new car. They will come to you at your convenience. You do not take your vehicle to them, sit around or need a ride back or wait for two. No. They know you're busy. So whilst you are in your office or hell, even in your home, they are outside with their mobile unit and they detail your vehicle. It's one of the coolest things, period. They've been awarded Best of the City because they are the best at what they do. Call, book, everything's online. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is at otsdetailing.com. otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Not sure I totally understand, but not for me to understand. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Bucks. ZJ's in today, too. JJ is in Laramie. ZJ is here downtown. Opening drive at 505-246-0610. Lakers and Mavs last night. Glad it's over. That's what Luka Doncic said. I'll bet he's going to be glad. When do the Lakers, they've got to still go to Dallas, don't they, at some point?
Yes.
All right.
I believe it's in April.
So they'll play that one out when he goes there. 107-99, Lakers over the Mavericks last night. Luka had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists. JJ, did you watch any of this and flip around? Were you a college guy last night? Where'd you go?
Yes, I hit a lot of games last night, and this was definitely one of them. And with Luka and the Lakers, it's fine. Yes, there's one basketball, but those dudes can play together.
Yep.
1-2 game score. The biggest thing for LA is since January 15th, they've been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Now, can they sustain that with Luka in the lineup? I think they can be good enough, and this is absolutely going to be something down the stretch. But you could tell with the way Luka was talking about it post-game that he's still a little shooken up about the trade, but now he's going to be able to lock in about being a future face of the franchise for the Lakers.
Defense. Say what I know you watched, you can get off of it. So what'd you get out of it?
I saw exactly what I thought I would see. Now, I think with like basketball, unless you're maybe like a big man or you're somebody who drives to the paint a lot, which I guess Luka does.
Yeah.
But being like angry or frustrated, that's not necessarily going to equal a great shooting game for like someone that plays like Luka does. But I think it definitely increases the intensity and it just kind of you lock in differently. And the way he was passing the ball, I mean, I don't watch Luka as much as I'm going to start watching him now. So from what I could see in this game, he was locked in on a different level, making all the perfect passes. He hit some crazy shots. And did you guys see that picture of him staring down Nico in the crowd? There's like an insane angle. It looks like a cinema picture. I don't know who caught the snapshot, but there's a picture of Luka walking towards the bench, and he's looking right at Nico, and Nico's looking right back at him.
The general manager, for those of you who don't know, the general manager of the Mavericks who traded him.
Yes, yeah. And so hey, I tip my hat to Nico Harrison. He was in the arena. He was showing face. He was at the scores table pregame, and Luka started hitting push-ups in front of him. So this is a real thing. It's not like a narrative us as fans who want the NBA to be more entertaining are pushing. And by the way, that was the most watched,
Do we already get We already got numbers on that?
So I know that was the most watched television broadcast over anything yesterday.
How do we already got numbers on that?
Yeah, I saw the report. Or maybe it was the games from a few days ago. But
okay, yeah, that's quick if we already got numbers on it.
Yeah, he's boosting the ratings, though.
Well, there's no look. That's really good TV. And you put two of the biggest, and JJ, you might be, I don't know. I mean, four biggest guys, those two, Steph Curry and Jokic. I mean, who else am I missing that's an attraction? I'm not asking you who the best players are. I'm asking you who are the best TV draws that people want to see. Is it LeBron, Curry, Luka, and Jokic? Am I missing? Who am I missing?
Wemby, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Wemby, maybe. But you got two of them on the same team, and they happen to play for LA. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, the numbers should be really good. Here's what I'm getting out of it. As much as we say Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic are defensive liabilities, as much as we say, well, yeah, but there's only one ball, as much as you want to tell me why it may not work, I'm watching it start to work.
He's speaking my language.
These dudes are too good for it not to work.
Yeah.
Like, you have LeBron is still one of the best creators ever to play the game. Luka Doncic is one of the best offensive players of this era. Like, it's going to work offensively.
Yeah, which makes them do I think they're better than Oklahoma City right now? I don't. But if you're going to tell me, let's just say they match up against Oklahoma City in a playoff series and it's best of 7, and I got a veteran team, and look, I understand that there's a deficiency in the middle with Los Angeles, I'm not sure it's as simple as, well, Oklahoma City is just better. L.A., look, if they continue on this, figure this thing out and get healthy, I think they just may be a contender. Am I just high on this?
No, I mean, you're also speaking to a diehard Lakers fan. But no, being objective, it's just that's what we're dealing with. And then you look at their roster, and yeah, you can point out they don't have a true big man. Number one, Jackson Hayes is playing great. It just sounds crazy to say that when you're talking about it, but when you watch the games, he's playing above what the Lakers are expecting of him. But with that being said, the Lakers, they're coming out, they're playing good defense. And think about it, with the Warriors, with the prime Warriors, no, there's no Steph and Clay here as far as shooting threes, but we got LeBron, Luka, and they had Draymond, but he's not a big man. So who was the true dominant paint force for the Warriors? They just played good team defense, and they had great help defense. They understood their assignments, and they had a tight locker room.
JJ?
Well, they had the right role players in Golden State. They had Andrew Bogut,
Andre
winning some titles. Draymond was an excellent defender. He could switch 1 through 5.
Yeah, he could.
Which changes things. I think with Hayes, if he can defend and rebound in his 15 to 20 minutes, they'll be fine. Like, I don't have questions about this team competing. And this trade deadline was unlike anything we've ever seen, where you have a superstar get traded. But then, Jimmy Butler's addition to the Warriors, you could have that same conversation with that team, just going, man, you go up against this squad now in the playoffs, and you don't feel comfortable. Now, I think Oklahoma City, while they're young, they had playoff experience last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be behind in terms of that if you put them against LeBron James. But these young teams have to start getting it now. Like, if Oklahoma City, like, their excuse can't be, oh, they're just not old enough. Like, you went through the
100%.
playoffs last year, the best record in the NBA. Like, now's the time to take the step forward. But it just happens to be you're looking at a conference that it's not just LeBron and Luka and Steph and Jimmy Butler. It's Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets team that's won an NBA championship. It's a Minnesota team that was in the Western Conference Finals last year. Like, it is going to be an unbelievable run to the NBA Finals for whoever wins the Western Conference.
What would be a successful season for Oklahoma City at this point? With everything they've done, do they have to get to the finals?
Got to be in the Western Conference Finals.
I think you got to get
to go to the NBA Finals.
I think you got to get to the finals. If you're OKC, you ran into Luka last year.
Yeah.
Another year under your belt. Best team in the league without Chet. If they're healthy, they got to get there.
It was a hell of a watch last night, man. It was Lakers and Mavs, and it got entertaining. And Kyrie played his ass off, by the way.
Oh,
he
my
was
gosh.
really, really, really good.
I was scared.
505-246-0610. Global fan, let's go. How you feeling? 73-65. You might just be waking up. Want to hear your thoughts on the loss last night. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM. Then AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-3600. 2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open
Your home for sports talk in the Duke City. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, a late night and a rough night for Lobo basketball last night in San Diego. Lobos go to America's finest city and get beat by the Aztecs 73-65. First time this year New Mexico has lost consecutive games. This was coming off the loss a week ago Wednesday, or a week ago today, in Boise. Lobos fall to 14-3 in conference and fall into a tie now for first place with Utah State. Of course, Lobos do have the tiebreaker over the Aggies because of the sweep of Utah State. And Utah State will play tonight in Boise against Boise State. Tough one last night. Nelly Jr. Joseph only had 6 points to go in the 16 rebounds. Only had 7 shots. San Diego State defensively did a heck of a job without Magoon Guath, their 7-foot redshirt freshman who's going to probably be freshman of the year. They got terrific contributions from Jared Coleman-Jones, from Miles Heide. Farrell Compton came off the bench for them. And the Lobos struggle offensively because of San Diego State's defense. Donovan Dent had 26 points. Jovan Milicevic, 16. So that's 42 of your – is that 42? Yeah, that's 42 of your 65 points. And the rest of them struggled. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck is in Laramie. He'll have Lobo women's basketball tonight. ZJ is in producing here. And JJ, just one of those on the road, and I'll read you some more comments that we got, and looking forward to hearing what you have to say at 505-246-0610. But an Aztec team that came out and really felt to me like they had something to prove. It was a big game for them. They got, as their head coach said, big brothered in Albuquerque, and they weren't going to get big brothered again in San Diego.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be really tough because of the way Aztecs play defensively. They're not small just because Guath isn't playing. I think they're different. Maybe they're actually better offensively inside because who knew? Coleman Jones hitting turnaround jumpers and fadeaways and the aggressiveness, and they were doing a really good job inside with their post position and getting to the basket. And that's what makes San Diego State dangerous. They have good athletes across the board. They really frustrated the Lobos, and I understand the concept of it, but now the Lobos need it.
Yeah.
Like the last two games, it couldn't just be, oh, the other team needed it more. No, you're playing for a regular season title. You're playing for your NCAA tournament resume. Like, it can't just be the other team was amped up for their resume too.
No, I agree. And look, I don't play with that concept. Like, I throw it out, but I've been telling you that for years. It's proven. I mean, we haven't tracked it, but tell me if I'm wrong. It proves to be about 90% true.
It does, but I'm not surprised by the Aztecs game. Like, that was going to be a grind.
Yeah.
Like, they were going, it was going to be hard to create the battle. But when you combined it with the Boise State game, which it was like, okay, you're tired, you need to flush that and move on. Well, that's too late in the season. That hurt when you are a bubble team right now. And, you got to find the way. If these teams needed it so much more, then you got to find the way to be the team that needs it the next 3 games.
And now you're concerned a little bit. Cleveland Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I just wanted to call real quick to Lobos. I mean, the way the selection committee seems to do us all the time, I'm not going to be confident unless we, win out these games and probably make it to the championship, I guess, in Vegas. I will kind of feel comfortable. I won't be completely comfortable unless we win the thing, because that's just how they do us, it seems like. What's the kid's name for San Diego State that's I don't like that kid. He looks like a Dollar Tree Mahomes.
You talking about Miles Bird, 21?
Oh, yeah, Bird, yeah. That kid, man, I don't know why I don't like that kid, but they were just making shots yesterday. We could not make a shot.
That's
we were
why.
just throwing it up at the basket, it seems like. Nelly just, throws it up and just hopes that it goes in. But I thought last night the craziest thing that happened was when, I don't know if the game was on ESPN or TNT or whatever, but when they put the picture of Luka staring and then with Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
That was crazy. Did you guys see that?
I did not see that. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Jose?
If you look at it was during halftime or something, and they showed Luka doing the stare, and then right next to him was Kendrick Lamar looking at the camera during the Super Bowl. Oh my God! I was like, how could they do that?
I didn't see the Kendrick.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
But
that was
thanks for everything you guys do, and I appreciate listening to you guys every morning. And have a great day.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you. Well, he answered his own question first off, JJ. Why he doesn't like what he called the Dollar Tree Mahomes? Why didn't like Miles Bird? Because that guy makes shots. Yeah, dude makes buckets. That's why I don't like that dude. And so I assume that to be a compliment. Is that fair? I didn't see the Kendrick Lamar shot. I didn't watch this closely. You saw it?
Well, I don't think. Was he saying they did that on the actual live stream?
Yeah, on the broadcast.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
It was on TNT. I didn't see it either.
I don't know. I feel like it would have been all over the internet.
All right, JJ David's in on the Lobo game last night. He said, "Good morning, Jeff. Very disappointed with the game last night. Dutcher totally outcoached Pitino. Aztecs kept drawing Nelly far out and consistently made the right pass to get a dunk or a layup. Lobos didn't communicate or rotate underneath. Far too much dribbling in traffic rather than passing quickly to create some passing lanes to get the ball to Nelly. Finally, the Lobos might need to upgrade their strength and conditioning coach. Lobos consistently could not finish through contact at the rim. Borovichinen in particular is very soft and seems afraid of contact. They need to win out now." That's from David. Couple things. JJ, I did think they dribble a lot. Look, when you got a team as active defensively and as long defensively and as skilled and drilled defensively as San Diego State is, too much dribbling is a real thing. And the commentators mentioned that on FS1 on both teams, because I thought San Diego State dribbled too much at times. I just felt that they got in passing lanes and made you really uncomfortable last night.
Oh, yes. And you knew it's coming, and it's stuff the Lobos worked on. I know there's going to be a sense of, Pitino got out coached, didn't have an answer for that. The Aztecs forced the Lobos into an offensive show. And I don't think that these players are as soft as they looked last night. I think Nelly's been a lot better throughout the entire season than people assuming, he misses so much. around the rim. I think he was frustrated, but I also don't think the Lobos did a good job of finding other ways to get him the basketball. It was just oh, he's in the post, someone's fronting him, pass isn't there, let's move on. And it is really hard to move the basketball and create against the Aztecs. You have to have multiple ways to go about it. And, that's why I credit San Diego State a lot last night, as opposed to thinking that necessarily the Lobos aren't strong enough or they can't finish at the rim moving forward.
One thing that just jumps off the stat sheet and going in, JJ, the Lobos were one of the top 20 teams in the country in fast break points, right? They got outscored fast break points 16-2. That tells you what San Diego State did defensively.
Well, also,
and
when a team makes baskets, you can't get out in transition.
That's correct. But they shot, 48%, so they made buckets. But I mean, they got out and ran. They played your game last night. Look, you went in and tried to play San Diego State's game in the pit. You won. I thought the Lobos won in the pit, A, decisively, but B, they won defensively, right? I thought the Lobos won so decisively in the pit because they were that good defensively. That's San Diego State's game. Brian Dutcher said we weren't going to get Big Brothered again. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. Dang it, Jeff. You just now took my point, man. I was watching this game last night, and I got, I have concerns. San Diego State's defense was just on point. They were giving the Lobos problems. CJ, Nelly, and True combined for 11 points. It was abysmal. But the fast break points in that game, and you just said I didn't know the number, but as I was watching, I didn't see a single fast break point, and I didn't check the stat sheet. But I think that is a massive, massive aspect of, because these SEC teams, these Big Ten teams, these other teams, they are going to be just running up and down the floor. And I feel like for somehow, something like maybe like the Vikings or whatever, you don't want to peak. You don't want to have your run. You don't want to be your best at the beginning or in the middle of the season. You really want to gel and come together and hit it at the end of the season. So for me, man, I'm loving Lobo basketball, but that was a concerning loss, and the way that they lost, I kind of feel like San Diego State even being down a man, that didn't bode well for me, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, see you. There's something. Let me ask you this. And remember when I asked Kenny Thomas this yesterday, JJ? So when you play a team, and in his world, I used the example of Michael Doliak back in the day with Utah. But when you play a team and you're a big, and I don't think this is what happened, but I said when you hear their big is out, Doliak's out, or this guy's out, do you lick your chops, or is there a tendency to relax, just thinking, all right, it's going to be an easier day? And I'm not accusing the Lobos of doing that. I don't think that's what happened, but I certainly think the fans thought that. I thought that, and look, man, going in, I told you yesterday, if Guath is out, I think New Mexico wins, especially if Amstiel played. Now, Amstiel gave you some minutes, and I thought he gave you good minutes. He gave you 15. I thought he played hard. He was 1 for 8. He hit that first 3 out of the corner, and that was it. But he does some things for you. But I wonder if there's something to you. You think that's just silly talk?
No, there's the mental side of it. I don't think that because Guath is out that Nelly thought it was going to be an easy game. I think that changed the way they defended him.
The way San Diego State defended Nelly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So maybe you go in and go, I confident in my one-on-one matchup. All of a sudden they're fronting the post or bringing backside help, and that ball's not getting into the post like you expected it to be at that point in time. And I think there's an element of that. They're human beings. They look at the court, they look at the film, and understand game plans and all that. And I think that the Aztecs, the way they defended him, frustrated him. It frustrated the Lobos. So I think it was more of once you're in the game and then not being able to adjust to what the Aztecs were doing, as opposed to going in thinking it was an easier night.
Yeah, I think it frustrated the Lobos more, not just Nelly. I think their whole game plan with trying to get the ball inside, and San Diego State made it so hard to get the ball inside, and that's where this one, David says, Pitino got out coached. Dutcher game plan to keep the ball from Nelly, not just on the front, but he had a guard on the back side of him, right? And the Lobos, that's where their offense seemed out of sync to me last night.
Oh, absolutely. It was, the Aztecs just, everything was hard. Even you look at Donovan Dent scoring 26 points, and it felt like probably 15 of those points were off balance, contested, just driving to the basket, putting something up in traffic to get something to go. And that's, a really good player making tough shots. And I think it also highlights just how incredible the home court edge has been in the Mountain West and in college basketball.
All right, got a sweet deal coming up for you. Want to continue to have your thoughts on Lowell basketball last night as you're getting your day started, coming off a late night last night. 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. Just like it is every other day, 505-246-0610. Put in your phone, JJ and Zay, and, that's their number, whoever comes up. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ sportsanimalabq.com. And don't forget Adrian. He's working hard over at ProView Networks, putting us on the visual medium, and you can find us on Xfinity Channel 26 and on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. Hey, John Thomas Jewelers is my jeweler, and they will be your jeweler if they're not already. Just go by and see them, and you'll say you had me at hello. If you're shopping for an engagement ring, or you're shopping for an anniversary gift, or just that wow gift, go by and see why they are the best jewelry store in town. Why they're the only 5-star Google-rated full-service jeweler in town, the fastest-growing jeweler, voted best jeweler in Albuquerque. But to me, this is like In-Store Magazine came in and voted them America's coolest jewelry store. Why? When you walk into the third floor of the Lewis University building, you'll understand. They got their own custom design center right there. So when you look through, let's say you're looking for an engagement ring, and you go through the 3,000 ladies and men's bridal rings that they have there that you can try on. You say, I like this, but I like this, and I want a little of this. They can make it for you. And he'll make you a mold of it that'll look exactly like it. You can try it on, look at it, and then they'll make it right there in their state-of-the-art design center. They don't have to send out to Dallas or L.A. They're that good. They are that good. I've worked with John. I bought things there. I've got a piece over there right now that they're working on. They're my jeweler, and they should be yours as well. Go by, see. There's so many reasons to see for yourself why John Thomas Jewelers is the best in Albuquerque. Visit them at 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310. It's on Louisiana, one block south of Banal, third floor of the Lewis University building right across the street from the Coronado Mall.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to
Lobos losing San Diego last night.
serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own.
JJ, you concur with that, right? You know, like places on the, well, this is the Duke City, and that's the Queen City, and that's the River City, and that's the City of Angels, and they call themselves America's finest city, and it's not a lot of people push back on it, do they?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right. Zay, you spent some time in San Diego?
Good.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
You never been to San Diego?
I heard the weather is just marvelous.
Yeah, it's not that good. That place sucks. Who was it? Oh, you know who it was? It was Donald. Remember, Rest of Soul? Donald was the one guy I ever listened to, JJ, who used to say, that place sucks. It's a dump. And I'm like, okay.
I think it's nice to me.
Yeah, it's pretty damn nice. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in on Lobos game last night. Hey, JJ, and we'll get to a sweet deal here in a minute. Lobo baseball had been 4-4 in their start, and the issue with Lobo baseball had been pitching. They had given up in their games 6 and 18, and then they beat Seton Hall 5-3, but they gave up 10 to Arizona, and then the Northern Colorado series came, and they gave up 16, 15, and then 4 and 7. So in the last 3 games, they've given up 11 runs total, which I believe is less than 4 runs a game, if I'm not wrong. Lobos beat New Mexico State last night 7-0 out at Santa Ana Star Field. They pitched a combined 2-hitter. New Mexico State got 2 hits. Dane Pengali from Rio Rancho got the start, the son of former New Mexico Scorpion, Darcy Pengali. But Dane went 5 innings, gave up 1 hit, and then you got 1 inning each out of Jack Messmore and Josh Barnhouse and Ty Cunningham and Daxton Purser. And the Lobos shut up the Aggies 7-0. So I don't know if that says more about the Lobos or the Aggies, and we'll find out as it goes. But I know, Lobo fan, if you're looking for a little feel good after getting beat by the Aztecs last night, beating the Aggies and getting some pitching and feeling a little bit good, that was a good one last night.
Yeah, you'll need to take advantage of those midweek games and get what you can out of maybe not your ace on the mound, but that was a great pitching performance for Lobos.
Well, and Dane's been their Friday starter. He pushed it back to midweek, so we'll see how that goes. Rhode Island's in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you want to go out and see Lobo baseball. It's Friday at 2 o'clock, Saturday at 3 o'clock, and then a nooner on Sunday if you want to go out and see some Lobo baseball. So you can do that. All right, we got a sweet deal for you. We don't normally do sweet deals on Wednesday, but this is a special week because it's Pie Week. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking pie, and you're thinking, oh, yeah, because yesterday we had apple pie. Zay, you weren't here yesterday, but Village Inn brought in apple pie. Today it's pizza pie. What do you like more, apple pie or pizza pie?
Pizza pie. There's no way.
Pizza pie is
Definitely
the answer.
pizza pie,
It's
yes.
pizza pie, right?
Like a deep dish?
Yeah,
Or-
there's some in the break room, Zay, if
Okay.
you want to go in and try it. Kelly is here. She is the co-owner of Village Pizza, which, if you're not familiar with it in Corrales, I don't know what's wrong with you. You should be. But it's one of the greatest places in town. And February is Pizza Month. They've got the Buffalo Chicken Pizza, which not only includes the buffalo chicken, it's bacon and onions and jalapenos and Buffalo Ranch drizzle. We got a sweet deal today. If you go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com, you go at 9 o'clock, click on the sweet deal icon, and for just $30, you get $60 worth of Village Pizza. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. First of all, thank you for breakfast. I was just over there, and everybody's already pulling at the pizza. Pizza is versatile. It is breakfast, is it?
Definitely, always.
Yeah. Tell us about your spot, because I know you're expanding now. It's not just the Corrales spot.
Yep. So we have our original location in Corrales, and then we have a newer spot. It's already been there 8 years now by Flicks Theaters. We offer local beer on tap. There's 18 on tap at the Corrales location, 24 at the Coors Rio location. We have green chili chicken soup for this time of year. Pretty much everything's made from scratch every day in our kitchens.
You've got one of the coolest spots in town, and I say in town because at Corrales we still consider town. Like the patio out there, it was described to me as serene. I'll use that word. I don't know what you. I just think it's really, really cool. I think it's super chill to sit out there. I mean, it's serene, chill. Pick your word. Go use the thesaurus about it. But it is one of the greatest spots just to go out and enjoy, whether it's the calzones or the wings or the nachos or the green chili soup or the pizza, and sit out at your spot.
No doubt. We have a nice, huge cottonwoods on our patio. It's nice and shady. Beautiful. Have the sandias in the background. It's a great place to be.
No, it is. And by the way, the pizza is really, really, really good. I'm not asking for secrets, but is there, I mean, what makes your pizza so, because it is, there's something different about it.
Probably just all the hard work we put into it every day, just making fresh ingredients and just my siblings and I doing some teamwork, making it all happen.
So cool. And you also offer gluten-free crust, correct?
Yes, we do.
So for those of you who, I just can't have pizza. I love it, Jeff. I can't do it. Well, we got a spot for you, and Village Pizza would be your place because they do offer gluten-free crust. Is there a website people can go check out, your menus, your locations?
Yep, villagepizzanm.com.
Okay, that's easy enough. Village Pizza NM, as in NewMexico.com. All right, here's the deal. And if you've been there, you know. So this will sell out in minutes. So get there at 9 o'clock. Put your alarm on your phone. Go to our website. It's sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the sweet deal icon at 9 o'clock. And for just $30, you get $60 at Village Pizza, which is, it's fantastic. If you've been there, you know. If you haven't, this is your incentive. This is your opportunity. They got two locations. The one over by Flicks Brew House on the west side. The original, which is in Corrales or Corral. How do you say it?
Either one.
It depends how I'm feeling. When I used to anchor the news with Erica Ruiz, it was Corrales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's Corrales or Corrales, whichever you like. All I know is it's Village Pizza, and it's great. Kelly, congratulations on all the success. Good luck with this one. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you. It's the opening drive. We'll be back. Global basketball last night. We'll take your calls tonight. 505-246-0610.
Southbound traffic on Coors Boulevard with heavy back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234.
Green chili soup. I mean, that's breakfast now. See, pizza pie, I guess, all pie's versatile. Apple pie is good for breakfast too, right?
I'll do apple pie for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm upset I missed it. I got some cherry. I got some berry.
Yeah. Well, you would have to get up early in the morning. So.
Yeah.
You know how that works. Zay's in today. JJ's up in beautiful Laramie, Wyoming. How is it up there? It looks like you got like as good a weather you could get in Laramie, Wyoming on a trip, period, no?
Oh, it wasn't snowing, but it was like 40 mile per hour winds and felt like 20 degrees outside.
That
so that was
awesome.
Great.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah. All right, we're going to get a little windy today. I did turn down at tea time today, just so you know. I had to work.
Sorry to hear that.
I did. I thought it might be a little windy, too. But, all right, 505-246-0610. Aztecs over the Lobos last night, 73-65 in San Diego. Donovan Dent with 26 points. But it was the San Diego State defense that was the story. Lobos have now lost 2 in a row for the first time this season, dropping away first-place tie with Utah State. Travis, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Travis.
Good morning, fellas.
What's good?
Dragging a little this morning.
Yep.
I had to pop a couple of Red Bulls. You know, I spiked my coffee with some caffeine pills.
Attaboy.
Had to get it going. It was a late night.
Yeah, it was. Spiked my coffee with caffeine pills. That's beautiful.
Listen, that's how you do it.
All right, I'm learning.
It could have been caffeine or it could have been vodka. It's hard to tell when you're so tired.
I don't need to know.
In the morning.
Yeah. Boss doesn't need to know either.
Listen, Jeff. You never turn down a tea time, okay? If it comes between, if it ever comes down to work or that tea time, you send a card. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm learning.
And you lace up the golf sneakers.
Yeah, I'm learning. Yeah, you're right.
I think you're right. By the way, you said this earlier. Is it too much to ask when you're the only college basketball game in that time slot, right?
Well, there were
There's
two.
no other basketball.
Yeah, Gonzaga,
is it
Santa.
Too much to ask.
Get the names right.
Go
Gonzaga, Santa Clara was on too. But yeah, you're right.
Listen, and these broadcasters, they get time with the coach before the game. They get time with the players. Like, just ask them how they pronounce their names. Like, I mean, I know being a sports broadcaster is hard. I'm assuming. I've never been one myself, but I think everybody thinks it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But there's awful lot of talent there. But just get the names right, man. The other thing is, didn't someone on your radio show, maybe not your radio show, but the afternoon show, said basically that the Lobos were gonna coast all the way to the finish, and that there were no more difficult games on the schedule except for that Boise State game?
Yeah.
Did someone say that?
That would be Fred, and he was definitely antagonizing Lobo fan. That's what he was doing.
Okay. Well,
That is. Zay, let me make sure I understand. So Travis took him seriously. So when he says something and it doesn't go right, I was just antagonized. But if it happens, he can sit there and tell you, I told you so. So he gets to play both sides of the fence. Because if you're a sports commentator, you're an idiot and it's below you. But if he happens to hit one and see, I told you, I know what I'm talking about. How that works?
Yeah, I noticed that strategy amongst like some of the analysts as I was growing up, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. Okay. I see the trick.
I get it. You get it both ways. All right. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, you did hear that, Travis.
All right. Well, I'm glad we've called out. I'm glad we figured out that Fred is just the ultimate troll looking for an "I told you so" moment. I'm glad we've got that figured out. But listen, speaking of Borovichinen, he seems to have suffered a little bit of a regression, and there were times at the beginning of the season where he didn't look like he was all that confident, and there was a period of games where he seemed like he kind of came into his own. He's a really, really important piece to this team. He's getting, obviously, the starter. He's getting starting minutes, but he is such a big body, and that's useful for rebounding and playing defense. But he needs to get some scoring in. And the last several games, he seems to have lost a little bit of his confidence. And something needs to happen to get that young man his confidence back, because he is such an important piece. And the other thing that concerns me is that these teams seem to have really figured out how to beat the Lobos. And I think it started with San Jose State, but Boise State obviously figured it out, playing really tough defense, denying the post, denying Nelly, and then ultimately just hitting timely shots. San Diego State didn't hit a lot of three-pointers last night. They hit 9, we hit 9, but their three-pointers just seemed to go in at really inopportune times for us. They were just timely three-pointers. And so the Lobos, this is not this strategy that teams are employing. Like, it's not like they're playing matchup zone or they have some kind of weird, offensive scheme they're running. They're just doing the same thing that Boise did, doing the same thing that San Jose State did, and this is a blueprint that if when the Lobos go to the conference tournament in Vegas, and if the Lobos are fortunate enough to win out and get an at-large or win in Vegas and make it to the NCAA tournament, this is something that teams are going to do to them constantly, and they have to figure out how to score it when Nelly doesn't get his first bucket until 4 minutes left in the game. So that's got to change. But, listen, the last 3 games are going to be critical. And if you think those things are going to be layups, I have a bridge to nowhere to sell you.
Yes,
have a good day, guys.
I got someone who might buy it. All right, man. Like I might have a buyer for you. JJ, a couple things in there. He says he felt Filip Borovichinen is regressing. Do you agree with that?
I think there's a lot of up and down in his game. Just confidence-wise, trying to figure out where he can assert himself in the offense. And a game like last night where there's so much focus on Nelly, it feels like someone else should have stepped up. But you look at Amzil, only 15 minutes first game back, 1 of 8. Your CJ Nolan, only 1 of 5. Philip was 2 of 6, got to the foul line some, but yeah, someone else is going to have to figure out a way to be aggressive when teams really scheme Nelly Jr. Joseph out of the post.
Hey, I say this somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Is he the best at drawing lane violations? I've seen more lane violations on free throws called this year than I think I have in the last decade combined. And it always feels like it's when Filip Borovichinen is at the free throw line.
Yes, that has been noticeable.
It's just bizarre. Like, honestly, and maybe that's a point of emphasis to call that. I don't know. He said a lot of things in there. You know what I heard a lot of? Like, if you make shots, you win games. San Diego State defensively was really good, and New Mexico shot 34.4% from the field. They missed at the rim a lot. I've heard that this morning. Yeah, they did. So did San Diego State, by the way. But New Mexico was missing. Everything's contested. It's not like they missed layup line stuff. They missed at the rim. Everything was contested. Now, there was a caller or an emailer who said, you've got to be able to play through contact. And yes, and especially if you're going to win in March, you've got to be able to play through contact. And games are going to get called a lot looser, and there's going to be a lot more contact to go through. And a lot bigger, thicker dudes, longer dudes. So you're going to have to get there. But it's amazing to me, the answer so much. Why were the Lobos, when they had that streak, that 8-game win streak prior to Boise State, there were 2 things. And it's the most basic of things. You're going to go, no bleep, Jeff. Really, they defended really, really well, which Richard said after the game yesterday, he felt the defense has regressed over the last 2 games. And they made shots. Right? What's basketball? Put ball in basket, stop other guy from putting ball in basket, right? It's the 2 most basic things. San Diego State, I think, bothered them yesterday defensively. This is just me sitting in my couch watching. New Mexico looked uncomfortable offensively yesterday.
It looks very uncomfortable. And that stretch for the Lobos, they turned defense into offense. And what San Diego State did last night was force misses. Then that allowed them to play some transition basketball, as you mentioned, 16 fast break points. And San Diego State shot a high percentage for them and in that style of game. And you said they were above 50% in the second half, 48% overall. That means there's no transition opportunities. And then if you're not able to get some easy baskets, San Diego State drops back in their half-court defense, and good luck finding any good shots against that defense.
Yeah, it's a lock. It really is, and it made it really hard. All right, keep them coming. I got more for you. 505-246-0610. Lobos lose last night. First time this year they've lost 2 in a row. They're in a tie right now, and we could wake up tomorrow morning, they'll be a half game back. You look at the standings, and Utah State will be a half game ahead of them if Utah State can win tonight in Boise. If Boise State, who's a 3.5-point favorite, by the way, wins, then the Lobos will have the half-game lead. But you got a lot of thoughts. I'll continue to bring them to you. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
From the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, and Big 12.
All right, you're coming in with a lot of thoughts this morning. Maybe you're a little sleepy, stayed up late. Game was in California, started at about 10 after 9 o'clock. It ended at about 11:20 or so, 11:30. JJ, I told Kenny yesterday, over under 11:42 is when they hit Lobo Live. I think it was right on the number. Really, really close to that. They went till almost 140 something last night over on Lobo Live. 505-246-0610. Robert, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Robert.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I was had a few comments about the game. I was really impressed with the way San Diego State has been playing. They're starting to peak at the right time. They're starting to gel. Some of those younger players are figured it out. I kind of thought that was going to happen. I figured the Lobos might lose. I don't think the 6-day layoff or whatever it was that the Lobos had did them any good. I think it had a negative impact. Nelly, for some reason, he just couldn't hold on to the ball. I'd never seen him like that where he just couldn't pick the ball up. I've always liked San Diego State. I feel they're probably the premier team in the conference, both basketball and football. And it's really sad to see them go away. I think we're going to miss a lot of these teams that are going away. It seems like all the state, we're going to lose Utah State, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State.
Yep.
That's weird. All the state teams are going away. So, you know what? Let's just enjoy our conference for the rest of the year, the rest of the season, and see where it takes us. But it's tough to be a Lobo fan. If the Lobos lose to Nevada, things could unravel quickly. They could end up on the bubble. Yeah. But anyway, you guys have a great day.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you. Kind of what I said yesterday, right? And enjoy this rivalry while you have it. I think this rivalry has been the best one, JJ, in this league, and the most intense. And you got two more regular season games left with San Diego State, plus whatever you might have in the tournament. I hope they continue this series as a non-conference series because I think it's healthy for both fan bases and both programs. I don't know that San Diego State's going to want to do it because it's hard to get teams to come to the pit, and they whine a lot about playing at altitude.
That they do. It's going to be a lot different in a couple years. Trying to get this energy back for Lobo basketball just in terms of the magnitude of the games. And you're going to have those same moments where you're going to want to stay up late and be talking about it until 2 a.m. after a game against UTEP or UC Davis or Hawaii. It's not going to have the same feel. So you hope that you can do some big things now, that you have a good foundation moving forward, and enjoy these big-time games while you got them.
Yeah, no, look, this league is fun, and I think we're all kind of bummed. I even think there's a piece of some of the fan bases who are leaving, going to the Pac. While they'll never admit it to you publicly, I think they're going to miss some of this too. But they got Gonzaga and they got San Diego State, and their basketball league's going to be good, but I think they're losing a little bit of atmosphere, losing New Mexico in the pit, and Mountain West is losing atmosphere going, with those teams going to the Pac. All right, you can get in on it. Rams stuff, quarterback talk of the NFL. We got to get there as well. And of course, it includes Aaron Rodgers. Lobos lose last night in San Diego, 73-65. Continue to bring it on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer.
IPS provides residential and commercial. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving
The Sports Animal. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, your sweet deal is live. Go get yourself some Village Pizza over at sportsanimalaBQ.com. Click on the sweet deal icon. $30 gets you $60 to spend over at Village Pizza in Corrales or on the west side. Is it Corrales, Zay, or is it Corrales?
I'm going to say Corrales because I can't roll my R's like that.
You can't? Corrales is not a burrito?
No.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I almost choked.
Yeah, that'd be really, really bad, man. It's a Village Pizza come up from Corrales all over the board over there. That'd be really, really messy. It's the opening drive. Zay's in today. JJ's in beautiful Laramie. JJ, I want to preview that big Wyoming and New Mexico game that's going to be here, coming up here in a little bit. Lobo men lose last night, 73-65 in San Diego. And I've got some more on that, but this just came out, and this is I'm going to totally change gears on you for a brief second. You guys can take the show back to Lobo basketball if you want. But this Rams Matthew Stafford story is really intriguing to me, not just because the Rams are my team, but because, I mean, how are you not intrigued by a guy who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback who was on a drive? This is the team that came the closest to beating the Super Bowl champion Eagles in the snow, and he's on the block. So JJ, Sean McVay, who is the Rams head coach, was on a podcast called Fritz and Witt. And so this is Andrew Whitworth, the former Rams lineman, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, the former quarterback. That's who this is with. And he said the Rams' first goal is to have Matthew Stafford remain the starting quarterback. They're trying to balance short-term and long-term roster decisions, right? And so what they're doing, he said, is letting their quarterback go out and gauge his value. And it sounds like they're going to decide whether or not they can meet this value. Quote from McVay, "There's no discrepancy on us wanting him to continue to lead the way and be our quarterback." Okay? He said the interesting and challenging dilemma and dynamics within this are, hey, how do you continuously, as a head coach, look at the short term and the long term and be able to figure out what does it really look like? There's no dispute, and let's not get it twisted regarding to anybody wanting him to be our quarterback. Now, there's layers to it. You have to be able to say, hey, how do we continuously build? How do we support him? How do we make sure that he's getting what he is worth relative to those things, end quote. What do you hear there?
Well, to me, we keep hearing $50 million with Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
If it was that simple, I think 2 years, $100 million, boom, there you go. And then you know that's the next 2 years, it's Matthew Stafford, and then you figure it out after that. But maybe Stafford is not just about $50 million. Maybe he wants to push $55, $60 million, and the Rams are hoping for maybe a hometown discount and a renegotiated contract, and so they're allowing him to get some figures so they can come back to the negotiating table, because Stafford in LA for at least the next year or two makes sense. That's still a team that was a drive away from beating the Eagles in snowy Philadelphia. So this is a good franchise that's done a fantastic job with the draft and why they have a young defense that allows them to be competitive and potentially, put some money towards Stafford at this point in time. And really, I think it's negotiating tactics, allowing Stafford to see what kind of deal is out there. You can come back to the table, see if you can agree on something, because there's not a better option than Matthew Stafford right now. There might be cheaper options, but there's not a better option than him.
Quote McVay, and so at the end of the day, we had something in mind, he had something in mind, and nobody was right or wrong. And then ultimately, you're saying there's a ton of interest because this guy's an incredible player. End quote. So can I tell you, as much as this bothers me, I don't hate it as much as I think I would. Let me explain this. This is the Rams saying, all right, go ahead and find out what your value is. We still control your rights. You're not a free agent. And that's where the Rams still hold the leverage, okay? He's under contract. Now, he's under contract to make $28 million or whatever it is, which is ridiculous. So they're saying, go out and figure out what your worth is. JJ, if his worth comes back at $50 million a year and they say, all right, we'll give you 2 more years at $50 million or whatever, you're 36 years old, then they're paying him market value. If he finds out his worth is $45 million or whatever, or to your point, if it goes to 55 or 60, they say, all right, cool, we're out of that. We can't do that and build everything else. We're going to trade you, get a bunch of pieces, and go get Aaron Rodgers. And it almost feels like they're letting someone else go determine what the market is. They want to be fair to a quarterback who helped them win a Super Bowl. And if they can fit it, like Cooper Kupp's going to be gone. They're trying to fit it in. And my gut tells me there's going to be teams that will overvalue him market value-wise, i.e. Pittsburgh, may say, hey, we'll pay you $55, $58 million. Right? And if that's the market, then you figure out, all right, what do I got to do there? I don't know that I hate what the Rams are doing as much as I initially did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is all negotiating. Money's not an issue. The cap is going up by like $25 million.
Yeah, big. Yeah, it's going up big.
So money is not an issue for the Rams and Kroenke. Like, they're not paying anyone on defense right now. Like, so if they're looking at this short-term window with Stafford, they could get it done, but I think they're also, being proactive on their side of just not immediately giving him that offer. Like, all right, let's see if it's there. And then if you are getting, bigger offers from other teams, maybe we can find a common ground around $50+ million for 2 years just to get it done. And 2, it's, you take a step back, and if you're the Rams, the only potential long-term option that might be cheaper is Sam Darnold. And if you get him for $50 million a year, say for 4 years, well, it might be more expensive.
But is it better?
Window. But that's the thing; it's not necessarily better. And I'm with you. I think ultimately it might seem crazy. Like, what are they doing? And I'm like, it's just business. I don't think anyone's feelings are going to be hurt.
Yeah.
I think Stafford knows that
the Rams want him.
The Rams are the best place for him to be. But if he is looking for one more big payday, it might not be the Rams.
And define big. You and I are going to define big differently than Matthew Stafford is, right? Somebody offered you $28 million a year. Like, what do I got to do? Like, oh yeah, I signed the. Oh, I got to lick toilets with my. I got to clean toilets with my. Whoa, right? But I mean, like, but what's his market value? Look, the window is going to close. I don't blame him for chasing another check. I don't. And he won you a Super Bowl. And does the franchise owe him anything? I don't know. He's been compensated for what he's delivered. I don't think the franchise owes him anything. He's been compensated, and in fact, the franchise delivered him an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, which he wasn't getting in Detroit, and he won the Super Bowl. So they delivered. They paid each other off, man. The franchise doesn't owe him, and I'm not sure he owes the franchise.
I feel like here's why I think Matt Stafford has done more than maybe what they could have paid him for. I think the Super Bowl is one thing, but then you look at the strategy the Rams used to get to the Super Bowl. You look at the strategy they used to get the roster they had when they won that Super Bowl. Typically, a team's going to have to pay for that afterward. And due to Matt Stafford, he had a lot of practice in Detroit carrying a football team, but he never allowed the Rams to truly go through that official rebuild. Like, they never sucked because he was always keeping them above water.
See, I would push on that a little bit. The reason, and the Rams did suck for a year. I mean, they did have a big drop. In fact, don't you recall they're the only Super Bowl champion that did not make the playoffs the next year? I think they're the only ones in the history, if I'm not mistaken, that didn't make the playoffs the next year. The reason that they are back to where they are, and remember their whole philosophy was bleep the draft picks, right? The reason they're back where they are is their front office did an incredible job drafting in rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's how they built that defense. It's where they found, Kyron Williams and those kind of guys. Cooper Kupp was, second round or whatever. They didn't have any first-round picks. So I'll push on that a little bit. They gave up a lot. They gave up all their first-round picks. That was the T-shirts, bleep the picks.
Yeah.
The reason they're back where they are is they did a hell of a job on talent assessment.
For sure. But when you do look at some of the injuries that have occurred on the Rams, they still were never like a pushover because Stafford would go out there and put up 350 yards and just kind of keep them in the game.
When it was there. And they did this and they lost the best defensive player of the last decade, right, with Aaron Donald, or one of them. So it's interesting. All right, 505-246-0610 is how to get here. I do have a bunch of stuff on Lobo basketball, and we'll hit that. I want to hit the phone when we get back, and I know some of you want to continue to talk about this as well. So it's both on the table. Those of you who sent me correspondence on Lobo basketball, we will get there. I'm going to get to the phones when we get back as well. Keep them coming. A big day on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Let's go to Tampa.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or
2460610. Thank you for holding. You are on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good day, gentlemen. Great subject matter as always. And I think you referenced a fan from San Diego that picked up on your show. Jeff, I travel to a lot of cities and I listen to local stations, and your guys' show, and I know we're friends, right? But this is objective analysis. It's really good. Like, it's really good. And the callers are getting better. The subject matter, they're very eloquently thought out points by the callers. So one of your callers said earlier that teams may have figured out how to beat the Lobos. Now, it's a small sample size, but the commentators last night said more than a few times that the Lobos lead the nation in transition or fast break points. And it just seems their point guard is so dynamic, right? He's such an amazing talent. They kind of go as he goes, and I'm not trying to make an obtuse statement, but he kind of drives the engine.
Sure.
If as you move forward and you play better teams and better coaches, they're gonna shut down that transition offense, and you better be able to score in the half court game. So, just an observation. I think they're going to be okay, but I think they're squarely on the bubble right now. I think they'll get in, but you really want to stay off that 7, 8, or 9 line in the tournament. But I do want to talk about the NFL real quick. The Eagles are a very interesting organization. I went to the Super Bowl when they beat the Patriots with their backup quarterback, and they made that great run. And then they fire their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and their head coach. They reload in 3 years, get back to the Super Bowl with another quarterback. And by the way, Hurts outplayed Mahomes in that game.
Sure.
They just happened to lose, right? Then they reload again, and Hurts is in his 5th year as a starter. This will be his 5th year. This will be his 4th offensive coordinator. And he outplayed Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. Think if that game had changed differently, what our view of the best quarterback in the NFL would be. But I just don't want to talk about the Eagles. The Niners followed the same methodology. They moved quickly on their team. They had Garoppolo, and they had that game won in the Super Bowl. They were up 10 with like 6 minutes to go, and that got away from them. They get rid of him. They draft Mr. Irrelevant. They reload their defense, change coordinators, get to the Super Bowl, and they take the Chiefs to overtime, right? There's a third team that does the same thing, and that's the Rams. The Rams, they lost a close one to the Patriots, and then they reload, and they get to the Super Bowl again, and they win it. They beat the Bengals. Then they reload again, and they had the Eagles beat this year in the divisional round. That game was – and I think they're not afraid to make moves. I think that's what's going to happen in the NFL. I think you have a very short window, maybe a 3-year window with your roster, and you got to make moves, and that's what – unless you have Mahomes, right, which is transcendent talent. But just that's what I've observed in the NFC. And this adage of every year we're going to incrementally get better, kind of like the Lions have been trying to do, their window, I think they need to make moves to improve their chances of winning the Super Bowl. So
I think they do too.
Those are my thoughts.
No, it's good.
Hope you guys have a good day.
And thank you for the kind words. So, JJ, a couple of things that he said in there. I want to go back to his original point. How differently would we think if this happened or this happened? Look, man, you can have that conversation everywhere in sports. Everywhere. How differently would we think of Tom Brady if they'd have given the damn ball to Marshawn Lynch, right? And the Falcons would have held on to their, 24-6, whatever that big lead that they had, right? Or, right? I mean, no, honestly. So if he had 2 less Super Bowls, or if David Tyree doesn't make the helmet catcher, Manning to Winningham doesn't happen, and he wins 9, right? I mean, look, you can play the if game all you want. So I'm not going to. But his point on the moving on thing and people understanding the windows, look, when the Rams made that move and got rid of Goff for Stafford, it was bold. You had a young quarterback who was the number 1 overall pick in Jared Goff, who took you to the Super Bowl, and you made a bold move and said, he's not our guy. He's right. When the Niners got to the Super Bowl with Jim Garoppolo and said, gosh, he's not our guy, we're going for Trey Lance. Hell, they drafted Brock Purdy. That was an afterthought, man. Trey Lance was their dude. They fell into this Brock Purdy thing. But he's right on the premise that, look, the NFL, they move. And that's why you may see a lot of movement in the league in this offseason. And in a large part, why I do think the Lions are going to make some subtle moves, because I think they have to.
Well, it's about when you make those moves. Like, the Lions are the Rams before the Stafford trade.
I agree.
The Lions are in position where they're a team that they could give up a first-round pick for a Myles Garrett or something like that. Like, that's the position they're in because they built their foundation.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a foundation to be able to make the moves where you trade multiple first-round picks.
Yeah.
You're not a team that's just good and trade a bunch of picks and become a winner. Like, this league, you have to have a foundation to make that work, to make a Jalen Ramsey trade like the Rams did. Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, veterans. Like, that's where Detroit is. Like, then other teams are, you have to use your picks to get to the point where you could do something along those lines. But that's why, the draft is so important in this league. Like, the free agency is the fringes. Free agency is the icing on top. Free agency is where maybe you can solidify a position, but you can't buy a team in this league. And yes, I know it's so important about the quarterback position, but that's why it's hyper-focused at the top of the draft. That's why these teams would be clamoring, even if they have to give up something at this point in time, just for 2 years of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
But there's ways to do this in the league. And if I'm looking if I'm the Giants and I get Stafford, it's like, okay, like you're not good enough, but you're desperate. So,
but that's why, I go back to how the Rams rebuilt. JJ, they rebuilt in rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6.
They did, but so that got them through, and they had multiple first-round picks this past year, right?
Yeah, they finally got some back now.
So
yeah,
they home run with Verse and Frisk.
Yeah,
and to do that, it's really hard to be in that point in this league where you can win giveaway picks and be good enough to then smash it like they've done. And that's why the Stafford one, it's super intriguing, man. It's business, it's negotiation back and forth. I don't think there's going to be any bad blood at all. And I wouldn't be surprised at the end of all this if Stafford is a quarterback for the Rams for the next 2 years.
Let me ask you this: how uncommon do you think this is? It's uncommon to the point where we don't. It's never really public in regards to, hey, go out and shop and find your value and come back to us and or is this just highly uncommon that you just don't let a dude go and shop himself? And maybe there's a special relationship here. I just wonder how uncommon I really believe this is in regards to, go out and find what your value is, and then come back and if we can match it, we'll match it. If not, we'll make you happy.
I feel like it's pretty uncommon, and I think a lot of things about the whole situation is uncommon. I think you could name some quarterbacks that you would put above Matt Stafford, and I still don't think they could do as good of a job as him at carrying a team. Like, he's got so much experience with adversity injuries, dealing with a crazy front office, dealing with different head coaches. Like, there's really nothing he hasn't been through. And I feel like if you got someone like him, even if you feel like you could get somebody who's more talented, there's just so much value in what he brings to the team. And, like, through the storm, you know he's going to be standing there. So I think he's got the leadership qualities out of this world. I think that the Rams would make a mistake by letting him go unless they really felt like they could improve their roster more, because I don't know what quarterback they could bring in there that could do as good of a job at weathering storms, carrying a team like Matt Stafford.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on the Stafford thing. I just wonder how often, this one's just so public, and I just don't know. All right, let's do this. When I get back, David and John, I got a bunch of thoughts on Louisville basketball. JJ, the fan base, it's gone from really, really hyped and I don't want to say cocky, but certainly giddy. How about that? Is that fair? The fan base has been giddy, and you've had a lot to be giddy about, to it feels like really, really concerned after these last two losses. I'll read you the latest correspondence. Want to hear from you at 505-246-0610. JJ's and Laramie's. AJ is here in studio. It's the opening drive. I'm merely Jeff Symbieta, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The biggest game.
For trade, we can help you find the funding you need.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavis, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on
SEC, and Big 12.
All right, Lobos lose last night in San Diego, 73-65. Aztecs' defense was really good. They played without their 7-foot freshman, Magoon Guath. Donovan Dent led the Lobos with 26 points. Only 2 Lobos in double figures. Jovan Milicevic came off the bench to score 16. Nelly Jr. Joseph had 16 rebounds to go with just 6 points. For New Mexico, who loses their second straight, first time this season, the Lobos have lost consecutive games. I'm going to get to the phones here in a minute. 505-246-0610. Text line. It says, Jeff, Lobos are frustrating to watch. It looks like this team is regressing. Sloppy passes, turnovers, and stagnant offense, coupled with a Patino defense that overhelps, switches, and doubles too much, leaving an open man to hit a 3 or a dunk. Same story, different year. Unfortunately, I don't see us beating Nevada on the road with this level of play, and can easily see us falling out of tournament contention with a poor showing in the Mountain West Conference tournament. JJ, I think there's a little panic going on, and I said before the break, fan base feels like it's gone from giddy to concern to, I don't want to say yet panic, but give me the word that is between concern and panic.
You should be concerned. You're a bubble team that lost 2 games in a row. Like, there's a level of concern. Like, winning a regular season title would be awesome. That does not punch your ticket to the NCAA tournament. I think the Lobos are still on the right side of the bubble right now, but there's so many moving pieces to this. And other teams win, move up, push you down a little bit. Like for New Mexico, I'm not concerned that they won't respond. Like, I don't feel all of a sudden they can't go win that game in Reno. It's going to be a tough basketball game, but I think the Lobos are better than what they've shown. I think last night was a credit to the Aztecs. You know, I'd be a little more frustrated with the Boise State performance than as opposed to last night's performance. But when it's 2 in a row, it's late in the season, you're on the 8-9 line, concerns real. Yeah. When you're a bubble team that's floating in the NCAA tournament resume world.
Yeah, and just because you're in on an 8-9 line in most brackets with 2 weeks to go doesn't mean you're not a bubble team. You lose 1 or 2, and all of a sudden you're solidly on it, and they've lost 2 in a row. And as JJ said, you know, it's not about what happens in a vacuum. Ben, you're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Ben.
Thank you for taking my call. I was just, in regards to the Lobos, I was a little concerned yesterday when they were talking about before the game that San Diego State was one of the last teams in, and San Diego State doesn't really have any bad losses, and they also have a win over Houston. So that's a little concerning. But I was wondering in regard to the NCAA tournament and the host sites.
Yeah.
Is the Pit no longer in the running because it's been since 2012?
Yeah.
And they've listed the sites up until 2028, and I was just wondering why that is and what's going on with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank
Ben,
you.
yeah, thanks, Ben. So here's what I understand on this, and JJ, I know we've been over this a number of times. So I want you to think back when the Pit used to host the regional, and the way it looked, right? It was always on the home team's floors. So if you go back, like even if you go back and see the Jimmy Valvano day, right, in '83, it still has the Lobo as the center court logo, and it had Lobo, right? The NCAA now brings in their own floor, their uniform floors. They all look alike, right? And when the Pit was done, but I don't even think this is when the Pit was redone. They didn't. I think this happened right after, like the new legislation or new regulations with the floor went in after the renovation of the Pit. And JJ, everything you and I understand is the Pit, the footprint of the Pit, the bottom of the Pit is not big enough to fit the flooring. Like the specs don't fit. And, you know, does that, I've asked this a bunch of times. Does that mean, like, if you is it a few feet on each side? If you jackhammered out one row on each side, would it work? I don't know the answer. But evidently the specs to get the floor in there, it doesn't work. Now, I've heard that there's not enough media space, and that's just baloney, because they've used the Davalos Center, the practice facility, for the media hub back last time it was here, and it worked perfectly. And you and I have been to plenty of places. JJ, go to the Mountain West Conference tournament. They use their practice facility which is adjacent to the arena as the media facility.
But they still have a practice court available.
Right.
In Vegas.
Okay.
So I think that could be
okay. So that could be part of it too. All right. But yeah, but as of
Boise
now,
hosts, and they don't have
a practice facility adjacent
one, so it's not the end all be all.
Yeah, but I mean, Viejas hosts too. There's not one adjacent to that.
But that's why I think we've discussed it. Like that should be talked about by UNM of how is this not a place that there's basketball events at?
Well, let me ask you this.
And then if they are going to expand the NCAA tournament, you need to beat out Boise because Boise is going to throw their name out there, going, "Hey, we host NCAA's. We should be the other
Dayton site." Yeah, like Dayton, and honestly, like Albuquerque would be perfect to be that other Dayton site. To where the first four, and then it would be the first eight or whatever it would be. Yes, Albuquerque would be a perfect site for that. Yeah. All right. This is from David on Lobo Basketball last night. Good morning, Jeff. Very disappointed with the game last night. Dutcher totally. Did I already read this one? Dutcher totally outcoached Pitino. Aztecs kept drawing Nelly far out. I did read you this one. Yeah, I did. Let me get you this one from John. Hey guys, let me start off by saying that I'm a Packer fan. And as a Packer fan, the first 3 years under Matt LaFleur, my biggest complaint was he would come out of halftime and keep doing the same thing, even if the other team had figured it out. He wouldn't make adjustments. And I'm seeing a lot of that with Pitino. Really. Wyoming figured us out, and a blueprint went out, and it's what's beating us. The thing is, Pitino's not changing up at all. I really thought we were a special team this year, but it's looking more and more that I once again, for the 40th time, drank the cherry Kool-Aid, and we're just a little above average. I really thought this was going to be a possible Sweet 16 team, and I don't know that we're even an at-large team right now. I have no idea how you can dominate a team at home and get completely beat down at their place. The 8-point difference did not show the story of the game. I think we will win the conference even when we lose to Nevada, because I think Utah State gets beat tonight. But we aren't winning the Mountain West Conference tournament playing like this. Finally, I completely disagree with your last two callers. You had the guy saying Phillip is regressing. I see exactly the opposite. He scored 17 and had 7 or 8 rebounds against Boise. It was not the problem last night, Jeff. And the last guy said San Diego is finding their groove. I don't see it. Well, that's because it's San Diego State. They lost to Boise over the weekend. It's from John. All right, let me ask you this. JJ, I'm going to go, and then we'll go to the phone. He says in here, never does Pitino make changes at halftime. Can I take you the game in Logan when they were down 36-30 at halftime and outscored Utah State by 25 in the second half? Can I take you the Colorado State game at home? I believe they were down as much as 10. They were down double digits in the first half and won that game by double digits, right, at home in the second half. Did those games count? Did he make changes?
Dude, I think the basketball fan, in-game adjustments are the most overrated thing they talk about.
Okay. Explain.
Like, you didn't make adjustments. Dude, sometimes you have to execute the plan.
You mean
if you're not
players make
executing
plays?
the plan, like, what else are you supposed to change? Like, you got beat. It's anytime the Lobos lose, that's what people scream. There was no second half adjustments. How many coaches don't change as much in games as fans think they do?
You mean players make plays?
Players make plays. I think if you go into another matchup with San Diego State, going into that game, you have to have a better plan for Nelly.
Yeah.
That could be one where I would have that conversation of you just tried to post up Nelly, they fronted him, he didn't move. How do you get him the ball? But the in-game stuff is overrated because it's an easy talking point.
Well,
it's, you lost this game, you didn't change anything. Well, sometimes you didn't need to change it, you just didn't execute anything.
So there were a couple of times where I thought, and the people who said the offense was stagnant last night, there were a couple of times where I was sitting there just going, gosh, nobody's moving. They're watching Donovan Dent dribble and penetrate, and maybe that was the offense late in the game. That was what they wanted to do. And there were times.
That's an effort thing.
And that's fair.
That's not a game plan thing. That's a San Diego
they're not
State
coached to stand
function.
around. Yeah, you're right. They're not coached to stand around. Secondly, there were times where it was obvious that they were trying different ways to try to get the ball to Nelly Jr. Joseph. And I'm going to tell you on this one, and like you got beat last night, okay? This one you got to tip your hat a little bit to San Diego State, and especially defensively, First of all, their defense was what they are. They were outstanding. And secondly, they made shots. Oh, wait, let me translate that. They made players. Their players made plays. They beat you last night.
The Aztecs are good. Like I know that they're underwhelming for their expectations.
Yep.
But and you've said it this year, like, oh, they just don't feel like the same team. Okay, like the way they defend when their length clicks, like they're a
when they
really
make
hard
shots.
team to play.
And then when they go back and make shots on the other end, it's like, damn, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and when you look at, how can you blow out a team and then lose to them? Momentum. Like, home court is real in college athletics.
Happens all the time. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, I had to call in, man. You referenced Jeff, my late cousin Donald.
Yeah.
And I remember I would visit Donald, and we'd talk about various experiences he had, and we talked about San Diego, and he said that place was a dump. It's because a lot of people don't know he was a Navy guy, and he was always confined to naval assignments when he was in San Diego because he was a gunner's mate, and I think that was part of his bias about San Diego, just bad naval gunman memories, back over there.
Fair.
But anyway, in terms of Lobo basketball, man, I went from a week ago, I went from giddy and, I guess fraught with anticipation and all of that to once they lost to Boise, watched the game. They did not perform well. And in fact, I thought they were almost dominated. I became concerned. And then last night, after that performance, I'm now officially disappointed and have an absence of confidence in the team, to be honest with you. And again, it may come down, ironically, to in terms of where the Lobos land potentially in the NCAA with their confrontation over there in Nevada with a guy named Steve Elford. And I'm not confident that they're going to win that game as I was a week ago.
Now, let's see where you are in a week, right? Because you're going to get against Air
course.
Force. You're going to feel a lot better about them after the Air Force game.
Yeah.
If they handle UNLV, you're going to feel a whole lot better about life going into that game.
Yeah. No, I understand that. But I tend to read into omenship and portending future signs. Perhaps I'm a bit have a bit of that, I guess, propensity. But remember last year, and I hate to be reminded of this, but the Lobos lost to Air Force on a Saturday afternoon a year ago. And keep in mind, we only beat Nevada by 2 points over there. So, I'm hopeful, but let's go into the future with some hope. And but anyway, I just wanted to reference my late cousin Donald.
Appreciate
Thanks
you.
for that, man.
Thanks. Brian, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good morning, guys. I couldn't agree more with you. Lobos got outplayed. They got outcoached. It was not the refs' fault, as some people like to claim. Pitino can coach. These kids can play. I got a lot of hope for the tournament. But, man, they're going to have to come to play. It's going to be one heck of a tournament out in Vegas.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, you got a lot of teams that are playing really well. Just don't look. I'm not ready to give up on this team yet. They didn't play well last night. They got beat by a really good, hungry team who played well last night. Who, by the way, was bothered by getting, as their coach said, big brothered in Albuquerque. And so there was a lot on the line for them, and they're a good team. Now, you had a lot on the line, too. Didn't play well, and again, 2 in a row on the road. Don't throw this whole thing out. This is still a good team that I do believe is going to win this conference, that I do believe is going to win it. I think they're going to win their last 3. And then let's see what happens. But I just, don't give up on it yet. And I hear the concern. I hear Lobo fan jumping off the bandwagon. You got beat last night. You got beat by a good program and a good team. But this thing ain't over yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to label the tournament. Is it going to be a shootout? Is it going to be a dogfight?
Yes and yes.
It's probably going to be both.
Yes and
right?
yes. Yep. I think they're going to be both. Brian, good to hear from you, man. Enjoy
If you
the
like
day.
to say in the burque, que no.
Yeah, sí que no. I know, sí que no.
Que no.
Sí que no. See you, Brian.
All right.
Órale.
Go
As they say in the burque, órale. Sí que no. Look, JJ, man, Lobo fan needed the couch this morning. You know what I'm saying?
As they should, dude.
Yeah.
You lose back-to-back games, and it's the way you looked. Like, San Diego State outplayed you. It's a credit to the Aztecs that they made the Lobos look that rough. You knew it was going to be a really tough game, but I think Lobo fans with this team were expecting a better performance, even if they lost that game.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like the Lobos were ever really in it. And I know it wasn't a outcome like a Boise State where they controlled you, man. They were up double digits in that game in the second half. You weren't close, but it didn't feel like you could turn that corner. And you go back to moments in that game, man, and it's a 4-point game. You get a steal. True Washington in transition misses a floater.
Yep.
And it's like things like that when you could get it to one possession and you never made the play.
All right, wrap it up when we come back. Still have time for you to get in. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. Area code 505-246-0610. Your email's coming in. Jeff at sportsanimals.abq.com or JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. All right, Lobo fan, I got something for you. You want to make you feel better? Go to lunch over at Twin Peaks. Go over at Twin Peaks and put a smile on your face. They got hearty lunch combos. $7.99 is where they start. Savory soups and crisp salads, variety of sandwiches to satisfy your every craving. Plus a whole lot to look at. You'll enjoy your lunch break over at Twin Peaks. And I don't know if you're looking for a happy hour. Maybe you got to work. All right, hit it at a happy hour today. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. They've got everything from tequila cocktails, extensive bourbon categories, top shelf spirits, cocktails served on ice balls, local craft beers, and don't forget their 29-degree drafts. Late night flatbreads, that goes through the end of the month. $8 all the way from 10 o'clock to close, Sunday through Thursday. And if you're looking for a gig, they're hiring over at Twin Peaks. You can have a lot of fun, make great money. They're looking for Twin Peaks girls, as well as cooks, bussers, barbacks. Text WORK4TP, that's work, W-O-R-K, the number 4, TP, WORK4TP, to 85000 and apply for a job at Twin Peaks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area.
JJ, what do you got tonight? 6 o'clock pregame, 6:30 tip-off, Lady Lobos and Wyoming Cowgirls. Big one.
Yeah, you look at Wyoming in third place right now, Lobos in fourth place, Wyoming 11-4 in conference, New Mexico 9-6. So an outside opportunity maybe to move up. You need Wyoming to drop a couple games. They had a huge fourth quarter comeback against Reno. It would have made this one a little bit more interesting. Their best player did not play against Nevada, Allison Fertig, who's averaging a double-double in a boot. So that's could be a huge storyline tonight if she's not available for Wyoming.
Magoon Guath isn't available for San Diego State. Does it sound similar to you at all?
A little bit.
Don't just roll them out there. All right, JJ will have the call right here on these Sports Animals. 6 o'clock pregame. 6:30 is when they'll tip it in beautiful Laradice at what they call the Doom of Dome. Hello, Fred. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Hey, Jeff, I want to make sure everybody knows that I'm not the one that they said that we'd breeze through the rest of this season. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
You're claiming I'm not that Fred.
It's your Fred, from what I heard. So but anyway, funny. Hey, I'm still not worried about us losing this game. I mean, gosh darn, like someone had mentioned, this team beat Houston. How many teams have beaten Houston this year? So it's but the thing is, what's nice is we beat Colorado State twice. We beat Utah State twice. No one else has been able to do that so far. Boise still has to play at Utah State and Colorado State. Utah State still has to play at Boise State again, and Utah State plays at Colorado State. So you figure that. And now I'm not worrying about San Diego State right now because they do have 5 losses. If Utah State beats Boise, that's what we have to hope for. Then we really have a good chance because I know we're worried about Nevada. They're 8-9 though. I don't know. I know it's offered in that, but I mean I still think our chances are better playing an 8-9 Nevada than having to play.
I agree.
The games that are going to be played, and then also Joseph kind of gets. Everybody talks about Joseph. You got to remember our team was 1-9 was Washington, 1-8 was Amsoil, Phillip was 2-6, and then Joseph was 2-7. That's 6 for 30. But Joseph, if you notice, he was only shot 7 times, but he had 7 offensive rebounds and 9 defensive. But every time he got the offensive rebound, they kept blocking his shot. And that's the shots that he was taking. He had all these guys under there. And so I don't want to blame Joseph. It sounds like he's the guy that lost the game for us by a lot of people calling in and stuff. And he had 16 rebounds. So want to give them credit for that. So
that's good.
Anyway, hey, it's going to be exciting, though.
Yeah, it's good. I appreciate you, Fred. Look, this game wasn't on Nelly Jr. Joseph. Now, part of the story of the game was the Lobos' inability to run their offense through Nelly Jr. Joseph, and that's due in large part to how San Diego State defended it. But look, don't walk away saying, man, this game was on Nelly. He's right. Borovic 2 of 6 from the field. Amsiel 1 of 8. True Washington 1 of 9. CJ Nolan 1 of 5. JJ, make shots. Players make plays, man. Was it part of the story of this game and why it went that way? Absolutely. But is he the reason you got beat last night? No, that is not the only reason.
He's not the reason. It's because you couldn't get him the ball.
Yeah, it's part of the story.
It's because San Diego State took him out of the game. San Diego State made every shot you take look like a bad shot.
That's absolutely right.
You think that was their coach, or you think that was their players?
Yep. Well, they were coached to execute. They executed the game plan.
You need both. Okay, 50-50.
They executed the game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't believe players make plays, huh? You think it's all about coaches?
I think it really, honestly, I think some plays is 50-50. It's honestly, it's 50-50. It's yin yang. Like, if you, and not to switch it back to my Lakers, but if you look at the way they handled Jokic defensively, like, that was 70% JJ Redick. Now, the players had to go do it, but that was a game plan.
Well, that's why coaches are there, to give you a game plan and do it. I've never seen a good coach win championships with bad players who don't execute.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it doesn't happen. Do I got time for this? I do, real quick. David, was the offensive performance last night much different than when the game was here? Lobos got up early that day. They weren't very good offensively that day either. 62-48, win here, and 73-65 loss there. As usual, San Diego State plays great defense, did a great job of keeping the ball out of the paint with all their ball pressure, their length, and the way they fronted Joseph and played great help side. Our half-court issue is we don't have any great shooters. Ding, ding. We have some guys who can make shots here and there, but none of them are what I would call great outside shooters. Check the shooting percentage from distance. Time to panic? No. 2 road losses to the number 3 and 4 teams. Not anything to panic about or be ashamed of. Now we need to win the next 3. We're still 14-3, still in the driver's seat, and control their own destiny. All right, good stuff today, man. We're getting a lot of new voices on this show lately. I really, really, really love it. Zay, thanks for getting up early. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Rest of the week.
All right. Heard with Colin Coward's next. Jim Rome shows after that. 2 minutes in at 4. JJ cracks the mic from Laramie at 6 for a 6:30 tip-off. Lady Lobos in Wyoming. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work. Appreciate you. Zay, have a great day.
Yes, sir.
JJ, big day for you?
Huge day.
Have a great broadcast. Enjoy it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What am I
What
new?
does it feel like to file?
You followed him
Get your guaranteed maximum
from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Cheese is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New